at 6:30. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Town of Waukesha, March 26, 2015, beginning at 6:30 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order, begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Supervisor Durr?
Here.
Supervisor Fisher?
Here.
Chairman Merrick?
Present.
Supervisor Radke?
Here.
Supervisor Wolf?
Here. And Madam Clerk, have we met all of the open meetings laws rules?
Yes, we have.
And we can begin then with citizens' comments. Good evening.
Joseph Laska, W238 South 3360, Big Bend Road. This is for the clerk. I would like to put in the minutes for tonight. To all the board members sitting there, the board, as individuals when elected, took an oath to uphold the laws and protect the town and its residents. As a town resident, I'm very unprotected at this time. A major water diversion will soon take place on Big Bend Road and Sunset as on Garfield Avenue and East Avenue. The work is in progress as we speak. Myself and neighbors have artesian wells. They're only 54, 55, and 56 and a half feet deep. It is very possible some of our water issues in the future will have big problems. It is my hope that the town board review the paperwork of this project and can plainly see the issues that we are concerned with, and as well as the ones that were overlooked. There should be language in the contract addressing my concerns. If and when I have issues with my well following any problems, I don't want to come back a year or 2 years from now. If you're still here, I don't have no water. What can you do about it?
What were the road names where the work's taking place, please?
Big Bend Road, north of the bypass.
Okay.
South of something, yeah, Garfield. Okay. Sunset Drive from East Avenue to Tenney Avenue, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't want to hear that hook up to city water. I called the city, and they said you're a town resident. Nothing we can do. I came in last week and I talked to Kathy. I still haven't heard nothing. But I don't want to hear hook up to city water. I want something in writing that the town, with an agreement with the city, can protect me and my neighbors. I don't want to have to drill a well deeper. I don't want to hook up to city water. I don't want to annex to the city. Thank you.
Perhaps if you hang around till the end of the meeting, we could chat. It's not on the agenda, so we really shouldn't be addressing it. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, could I just make a real quick announcement if there aren't any other citizens' comments?
Sure.
Some of you, or many of you probably remember Rich Everhard, who was our town engineer for many years from Rupert and Milky. Just got word his wife just passed away, so I wanted to share that with everybody who remembered Rich. Maybe we can find a way to send a condolence card or something on behalf of the town. So I wanted to share that with you.
Thank you.
Afternoon.
Good evening.
My name is Jim Mason. I'm a neighbor of Joe. It says creation of town islands and annexation is expressly prohibited by statute 66021-221. When all this happened, I was never notified. Even when this happened, I was never notified. If you guys are representing me, why am I finding out about this after it's all done? I mean, they're clearly trying to push us out. Next thing I'm waiting for is eminent domain to come and say that because of my well is dry or something, that they're going to condemn my place or take part of my property to put sidewalk in and raise my property tax. I don't want to be part of their city. But I'm going to be forced out by these millionaires. I know it. And I'd like you guys to at least inform me when they're doing stuff like this, because I wouldn't have known about this until about half hour ago when my neighbors told me about this meeting. I found out about it all afterwards. And I know the mayor is in Smart's pocket. Their whole plan is to push us out. You know, there aren't very many of us. There's only 4 on the one side. I'm surrounded by them, connected with a 10-foot strip. Now, if I want to sell my property, I think that ruins my chances of doing it. And, you know, who am I to go up against the Smarts and the city of Waukesha? They're not telling me anything. I'd like at least to be notified of this stuff before it happens. Because I know the end goal is just to push us out, you know, and then they want to put sidewalk down the whole side. But I'm just saying, you guys are supposed to be representing me. At least notify me.
Notify you of what? I'm not sure.
Of what they're doing, so I at least can come to court and try to fight it or something. I know they're just going to seize my property or seize like 30 feet of it or whatever. I'm going to be an annex. They're going to say, no, you don't have to be annexed. I don't believe it. I think they're going to force me to annex. So my property taxes will double, whatever. I don't want any part of their city. That's why I bought the place to begin with. I have all that land behind me. It was real nice. I have like a barn with a silo. It looked like Town of, it doesn't look like Town of anymore. I got machines running and, you know, you guys can tell me what you want. I know the end goal is to push us out. And it really scares me. And I wish you'd at least notify me ahead of time before they come and take my stuff.
Once again, if you'd hang around till after the meeting, I'd be happy to chat with you.
Okay, because yeah, went to court too. We went and they said, well, they don't have to notify us. Town's supposed to tell us, but we never hear anything. So we go to the city meetings and they're like, we'll listen to you, but we really don't have to. Yeah, it sounds like government to me. I mean, I don't have money to go up against these people. We don't need Myers. We have 2 Pick and Saves. We have a Woodman's. We have all these. Myers doesn't even pay very well. I mean, it's below minimum. I mean, they're worse than Walmart. They're not making our area better. And since they put the apartments up the hill from us, Smarts did, we got heroin dealers. Springs are popping up in my neighbor's yard. We got water issues where there's actually springs popping up in the ground. Once they push that big mountain down, we don't know if we're going to have water, if we're going to have too much water. Either way, we're probably going to get screwed. So, you know, it is a big issue for us. I mean, these millionaires are moving in and they're going to screw up our life. So I wish you guys would kind of look into it and make sure that we don't get screwed over by these people because they don't care. So, I mean, I'm really worried about it. So I hope it doesn't get that way.
Let's talk after the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, Janet Glade, South 31, West 26111, Sunset Drive. Last week was the pre-election forum of the candidates for the town board. Questions were asked and answered by the candidates, several who are current board members. There were positive and negative moments during the forum. Hopefully, the future board will attempt to change these negatives into positive. These are positive. Our chairman arranging the forums so citizens could hear the views of the candidates. Negative. Not checking beforehand to see if everyone could attend and then faulting Larry Wolf for having unchangeable vacation plans. A simple phone call would have allowed all to participate. Positive. There were questions about the budget. A budget of 1 page with few categories was presented in time. Negative. The budget presented this way was difficult to understand and invited more questions than answers. Negative, announcing at the forum by several of the candidates the fake premise that a vote against or an abstention of the budget by Larry, Wayne, and Millette was a vote against the lowering of taxes. Their vote was against the presentation and the unclarity of the budget. Positive, the former town board investigating and evaluating the solution to the supposed failed septic system. Positive and negative, 2 years later, the septic system is still working and is seldom pumped. What's with that? Positive and negative, work has finally started. I am looking forward to a clarification of this year project since it's on the agenda for tonight. Could be positive, since our goals are similar, attaching 288 acres of our town to the city of Brookfield. Negative, lots of questions about this. Negative, what exactly does attachment mean in this context? Is it a legal term? Negative, the city of Brookfield will supposedly unattach our acreage if they are successful. But what if they lose? Does this attachment allow them to relinquish our 288 acres and our $60 million tax base without them giving us a fight? Negative, the city of Brookfield lawyer is being paid by them, so where do you think his loyalties lie? I think for the future board, on this matter, at least, we need to hire an impartial lawyer working just for us. I'm not a lawyer, but I see a slippery slope concerning this deal, and that slope is not heading us to nirvana. And thanks to all of you who participated in the forum.
Thank you.
Mike Peterson, West 238, South 3338, Big Bend Road. I came here to talk about some of the things that my neighbors already spoke about. But it seems like we got a theme going here. It seems like information is not being shared. And if that information is known, it should be shared. And if that information is not known, there's a problem. With the close proximities of the city and now the town and the area I live, as they spoke, we're now on an island, which was strongly by the state something they didn't want to happen, but it's something the city and both the towns allowed to happen. That could cause problems for our services, both medical, law enforcement, that kind of thing, because now we're in a different jurisdiction. They alluded to some of the stuff with wells, so I'm not going to get into that as well. But what I would like to see, and I'd like to know from all of you guys, is when are we going to share information, or when are you guys going to be my representative and gather that information and let me know what's going on? That's all I have.
Thank you. And once again, if you would stick around after the meeting, I'd love to chat with you. Anybody else?
Angie Vansock, South 51, West 25375, Glendale Road. Boy, I'm really looking forward to that after meeting chat. I'm assuming everybody's invited to that. The town of Brookfield issue with Janet Glade just mentioned. There is no detachment from the city of Brookfield. There's no resolution that exists, even though Mr. Merrick said that in public. I immediately asked the mayor for a copy of the resolutions, and he called me quizzically and said, "What are you talking about?" And doesn't exist. There are two resolutions, both are the same. They'll take the entire incorporation area. There's only two because The town of Brookfield made a mistake in their legal description and they had to redo it. Making representations to try to get elected is wrong. You're talking about having a conversation with these poor people with Big Bend Road, though I don't see that any notice went out to the people on Sunset where you're trying to do jurisdictional swap tonight for nothing. The same issues that the Big Bend people are having is what the poor Sunset people are going to have, and they have gotten no notice. At a minimum, a letter should have been sent to them so that they were aware and should be able to talk to you about what is going to happen to them. Those 4 people that are directly on Sunset, that 4-lane highway, I would bet it'll all go south and take their front yards. What are their homes going to be worth? You have done nothing in the jurisdictional agreement to protect any of them. You have clout in this matter, and you could have negotiated, although you didn't, according to the document, that at least these people get free sewer and water without annexation. You could still include the people on Big Bend. Not that they want it, but they have a fallback if the construction and efforts around them wreck their systems. And this is how you should be helping with people, not having after-hours conversations, but talking to them. Now we talk about the sewer system, and I'll ask you directly, Mr. Merrick, am I going to be allowed to speak under the agenda item that I asked to put on the agenda?
No.
I would quote from the agenda preparation, section 2-3-11, any person, firm, or corporation that desires to present any matter to the town board for its review shall make a written request. I made a public request at the last meeting. I made a written request. It was confirmed by the clerk. It is on the agenda. You cannot keep people from sharing information and asking for information. It's not right, John Merrick. And people have a right to present and be on the agenda, and you can't pick and choose your friends to talk, which you have allowed plenty of people to put things on the agenda, including Tom Kelnick, but not allow somebody who has information and history to help gentlemen here and the people in the town to understand the issues.
Thank you for your comments.
You're cutting me off?
Your 3 minutes are up.
Oh, wow, real nice. Thanks.
Anybody else? Anybody else for citizens' comments? And we'll move on.